Have you ever encountered someone who never tried to dominate attention, never raised their voice, never competed for validation, and yet, the moment they entered the space, everything felt different? No performance, no effort, no need to impress, just presence, a calm gravity, a silent authority, a quiet warmth that made others feel steadier simply by being near them. This kind of attraction has nothing to do with appearance, status, or clever words. It comes from something deeper, something invisible, inner mastery. The Stoics understood this long before the modern world became obsessed with attention. They knew that the more desperately one tries to be noticed, the more forgettable they become. True magnetism arises not from trying to shine, but from becoming still, from becoming grounded, from becoming whole. Before we dive into these 6 Stoic habits, take a moment to like the video if you're ready to strengthen your presence, and leave a comment. I choose growth as a reminder to yourself to walk this path. And today we explore 6 Stoic habits that do not make you louder, but make you unforgettable. Not because you seek admiration, but because your presence brings peace. Habit 1. Be fully present. In a world addicted to distraction, presence has become rare, and rarity creates value. Everywhere you look, attention is fractured. Conversations happen alongside glowing screens. Listening is interrupted by thoughts, notifications, and the urge to speak next. Most people don't truly listen. They hear only enough to respond. Their mind races ahead, rehearsing replies, forming judgments, crafting stories about themselves. But the Stoics believed listening was not passive. It was a discipline, a form of respect, a mark of inner strength. Epictetus reminded us that nature gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, not as a metaphor, but as a reminder of restraint. To listen is to offer someone something priceless: undivided attention, undisturbed awareness, the rare experience of being fully seen without being evaluated or corrected. Think of the last time someone listened to you without interrupting, without glancing at their phone, without rushing to fix your emotions or turn the conversation back to themselves. That silence felt safe. That attention felt warm. That presence felt rare. In those moments, you didn't feel judged. You didn't feel rushed. You felt allowed to exist exactly as you were. When you listen deeply, something subtle happens inside you. Your ego softens. The need to impress fades. The urge to compete disappears. You are no longer trying to be interesting. You are choosing to be attentive. And in that quiet humility, something powerful unfolds. People feel understood, valued, respected. Stillness becomes your language. And stillness speaks louder than words ever could. The Stoics viewed silence not as emptiness, but as control. The ability to remain quiet is proof that you are not ruled by impulse, that you do not need constant validation. Practice being fully present, not just with others, but with yourself. Sit in silence. Notice your thoughts without chasing them. Listen to what stirs beneath the noise, the fears you avoid, the truths you delay, the calm you often ignore. When you can hear yourself clearly, you begin to understand yourself honestly. And when you understand yourself, you listen to others with greater patience, compassion, and depth. You stop listening to reply. You start listening to connect. And those who make others feel heard, those who create safety through attention, those who listen without judgment, become impossible to forget. Habit 2. Cultivate inner calm. There is a quiet strength in those who remain steady while everything shakes. A calm that does not demand attention, yet commands it. When others rush, they pause. When others panic, they breathe. When others react, they observe. They are not detached from life. They are not indifferent. They are simply not enslaved by every impulse that passes through the mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote that tranquility comes from living in harmony with reason, not emotion, not impulse, not fear. The Stoics understood a difficult truth. The world will never slow down for you. Chaos will not ask permission. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will shift without warning. But while the world cannot be controlled, the mind can be trained. Imagine your mind as water. When still, it reflects truth clearly. You see reality as it is. But when turbulent, when stirred by worry, anger, or fear, everything becomes distorted. Small problems feel enormous. Temporary setbacks feel permanent. Inner peace does not mean escaping storms. It does not mean isolating yourself from life. It means refusing to let storms live inside you. Before reacting, pause. Create space between stimulus and response. Ask yourself a simple question. Is this within my control? If yes, act with clarity. If not, release it without resistance. This single habit protects your energy more than any defense ever could. Those who carry calmness become anchors. When they enter a room, the tension softens. Conversations slow down. People breathe easier without knowing why. They feel safer near you, more grounded, less afraid. Peace is contagious. Just as anxiety spreads, calm spreads faster and deeper in a world addicted to urgency. Where speed is mistaken for importance, calm becomes charisma. Not loud confidence, not forced positivity, but quiet composure. True serenity cannot be performed. It cannot be copied. It cannot be faked. It must be cultivated. Sit in silence. Detach from noise. Step away from constant stimulation. Let thoughts arise without chasing them. Let emotions pass without feeding them. Like clouds moving across the sky, you are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. The quieter your mind becomes, the steadier your body feels. The slower your breath becomes, the clearer your decisions grow. And without saying a word, your presence begins to speak. The quieter your mind becomes, the louder your presence will speak. Habit 3. Speak only what matters. Some people speak constantly and say nothing. Their words fill the air but leave no trace. Others speak rarely, and when they do, their words linger. They echo long after the moment has passed. The difference is not volume. It is not confidence. It is intention. Epictetus taught a simple rule. Either remain silent or speak something worth hearing. The Stoics believed speech should never be impulsive. Words were not entertainment. They were tools. Words should clarify, not clutter. Heal, not inflate. Guide, not dominate. When you speak with purpose, you show restraint, self-control, awareness, dignity. You are no longer ruled by the urge to fill silence. You are comfortable letting space exist. Silence becomes strength. Restraint becomes respect. Those who speak less but mean more become voices people trust, not because they demand attention, but because they earn it. They do not interrupt. They do not argue to win. They speak when their words add weight, not noise. And when they speak, people listen. Remember this: the way you speak to yourself matters more than any conversation with the world. Harsh inner dialogue weakens you quietly. It drains confidence without announcing itself. Gentle self-talk builds silent strength. It steadies the mind. It sharpens judgment. If your inner voice is chaotic, your outer words will follow. But when your inner voice is calm, your speech becomes clear. Align your words with your actions. Let truth be your habit. Let sincerity be your tone. Do not speak to appear wise. Speak to be honest. Speak when needed. Pause when unsure. And let silence carry your authority. Because the most powerful words are spoken by those who are not afraid to remain quiet. If this habit spoke to you, like the video to show your commitment to growth and leave a comment. I choose my words wisely, as a reminder to yourself to speak with purpose every day. Habit 4. Meet hardship with steadiness. Everyone faces storms. No life is spared. Loss, failure, betrayal, disappointment. These moments arrive without warning. They test not your comfort, but your character. Yet few face them with composure. Few remain steady when the ground shifts beneath them. Marcus Aurelius taught that the obstacle is not the enemy, it is the path. What stands in your way is shaping the way you stand. Pain does not weaken you. Resistance shapes you. Just as fire tempers steel, adversity refines character. The Stoics did not believe strength meant never feeling pain. They believed strength meant not surrendering to it. Resilience is not the absence of suffering. It is the refusal to be broken by it. You may feel grief. You may feel anger. You may feel fear. But you do not let those feelings command you. When you meet hardship without bitterness, without blame, without collapse, Others notice. They may not understand your silence, but they feel its weight. The Stoics called this love of fate, not wishing life were different, but embracing it exactly as it unfolds. Not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. You do not complain. You do not dramatize pain. You do not perform suffering for sympathy. You rise quietly. You adjust your footing. You continue forward. And in that quiet courage, you radiate something unforgettable, unshakable strength. People may never hear the details of what you endured. They may never know the nights you carried yourself alone, but they will feel the steadiness in your presence, the calm in your eyes, the restraint in your voice. Because those who have faced storms and chosen composure carry a gravity no noise can imitate, and that gravity is the mark of true inner power. Habit 5. Choose integrity over approval. Chasing approval drains authenticity, and without authenticity, magnetism fades. The more you shape yourself to fit expectations, the less of you remains. Little by little, you edit your thoughts, soften your convictions, and silence parts of yourself that might make others uncomfortable. Trying to please everyone slowly erases you. You become agreeable, polished, and forgettable. Marcus Aurelius reminded us not to concern ourselves with opinion when our actions are right, because opinions are unstable. Praise shifts. Criticism shifts. Crowds shift. But principle remains. Integrity is living truthfully when compromise would be easier, standing firm when silence would feel safer, choosing what is right over what is comfortable. It is telling the truth even when it costs you. It is saying no when yes would earn applause. It is remaining aligned when being accepted would require betrayal of self. Those who betray themselves for acceptance pay a quiet price. They lose self-respect. And without self-respect, respect from others cannot last. Approval gained at the cost of integrity always expires. Those who remain true, even when misunderstood, even when isolated, even when judged, become anchors of trust. They do not adjust their values for applause. They do not dilute their voice for comfort. They do not perform versions of themselves for approval. Not everyone will like you. That is the cost of honesty. But everyone will know you are real. And authenticity commands a quiet admiration. Not loud approval, not instant praise, but something deeper, something lasting. Better to be alone in truth than surrounded in falsehood. Better to walk forward with clarity than stand still in borrowed beliefs. Integrity does not seek attention. It does not announce itself. It reveals itself over time, in consistent action, in steady choices, in the calm confidence of someone who does not need permission to be who they are. Those who live this way may be challenged. They may be questioned. They may be tested, but they will never be confused about who they are. And in a world built on performance and approval, that clarity becomes power, because the most respected people are not those who are liked by all, but those who never abandon themselves to be liked at all. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like the video, not for the algorithm, but as a quiet commitment to living with integrity over approval. Habit 6. Commit to growth, not perfection. Perfection is a mask, smooth, convincing, and empty. It hides the cracks. It hides the effort. It hides the human being behind the performance. Growth, on the other hand, is real. It is uneven, unfinished, alive. Those obsessed with appearing flawless often feel distant, untouchable, hard to relate to. They seem so polished that others fear making mistakes around them. And in that fear, connection dies. But those who admit their imperfections feel human, approachable, grounded. They carry the quiet invitation for others to be honest too. The Stoics never sought perfection. They understood it was an illusion. They sought progress. Every mistake was training. Every fall was refinement. Every setback was instruction. Failure was not humiliation. It was not evidence of weakness. It was information. It showed you where to adjust, what to strengthen, what to release. The magnetic individual is not finished. They are evolving, patient with themselves, open to learning, humble enough to improve. They do not rush to prove anything. They are not in competition with others. They do not boast about growth or parade their achievements. They walk forward quietly, one step steadier than the last, one lesson absorbed, one scar earned. They understand that mastery is not a moment. It is a lifelong practice, a subtle shaping of character, thought, and action. And in their sincerity, others feel permission to be real too, to admit uncertainty, to make mistakes without shame, to grow without pretending, progress over performance, growth over illusion. When you stop trying to appear perfect, you stop hiding behind a mask. You become honest. And honesty carries a rare kind of strength. It is quiet. It does not demand attention, but it radiates in the steadiness of your actions, the clarity of your decisions, and the patience in your presence. The Stoics taught that life is not about arriving finished, but about refining the self through effort and awareness. Each day, a little more discipline, a little more patience, a little more courage. Each day, a little more alignment with who you truly are. Not flawless, but forward, because the most magnetic people are not those who seem complete, but those who continue to grow with humility, steadiness, and quiet resolve. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to like the video, not to show anyone else, not for recognition, but as a silent commitment to continue walking the path of growth. True magnetism has never come from appearance, status, or performance. It has never lived in titles, applause, or recognition. It comes from self-mastery, from calm, from honesty, from discipline, from peace. When you master yourself, you stop chasing what cannot satisfy you. You no longer seek validation. You no longer beg for admiration. You no longer shape yourself to be accepted. Your presence becomes enough. You walk without urgency. You speak without force. You stand without needing approval. You do not compete for attention. You do not perform to be liked. So choose listening over noise, calm over reaction, purpose over chatter, strength over complaint, integrity over applause, growth over perfection. These choices are quiet. They may go unnoticed by many. They may be invisible to the impatient or distracted, but they are felt deeply by those who need stability, safety, and truth. And in doing so, you will not need to force attraction. You will not need to prove anything, because the peace you carry will draw others naturally. People are not pulled toward calm by logic. They are pulled toward it by relief, by the sense of security, steadiness, and authenticity your presence creates. True magnetism does not seek followers. It does not beg for admiration. It does not perform for applause. It simply exists, and its quiet strength is enough. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to like this video. Share your intention by leaving a comment. I choose growth, not as a declaration to the world, but as a reminder to yourself, a silent commitment to continue walking the path of self-mastery. Continue this journey, not for recognition, not for approval, but for alignment, for the steady development of your character, for the peace that will inevitably touch those around you. Because the most powerful presence is not the one that demands attention. It is the one that brings calm, the one that offers quiet assurance, the one that creates safety simply by being. And that presence, that quiet, unwavering, peaceful presence, is the kind of magnetism the world will never forget. So like the video and leave a comment. I choose growth, not as a declaration to the world, but as a reminder to yourself.